everyone. Welcome to Living an Elevated Existence. I am Tammy Mastroberte, founder of Elevated Existence and publisher and editorial director of the award-winning Elevated Existence magazine. Today we are here with one of my favorite authors and the woman who got me started with Oracle cards, Colette Baron-Reid. She's known by her fans as the Oracle, and she's an internationally acclaimed medium, intuitive counselor, oracle expert, and host of the TV show Messages from Spirit, as well as the online hit Motorcycle Medium. She's also a best-selling author of books including Messages from Spirit and The Map, and her work has been translated into 27 different languages. She's here today to talk about her newest book called Uncharted, The Journey Through Uncertainty to Infinite Possibility, which is really a handbook for kind of harnessing and turning our fear into possibility by making that conscious choice to connect with spirit and to connect with our own power that we have within ourselves to co-create our lives. So Colette, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. You obviously read the book.
Yes.
I have read what it's about.
Yes, exactly. So actually, having read the book, the first thing I want to ask you is, can you share with our audience who Fred is and kind of how that came about? Because I think this story is so cool, and I know that our audience and where they are will appreciate it as well.
Okay, so I have to be honest, I was very hesitant to talk about this, but I had shot my TV show Messages from Spirit. It's a Canadian show in Toronto, and I had never done that many readings in my life, right? So I had done, not like in 12 shooting days, I did over 300 readings.
Wow.
So what happens when that happens is that you can't be focused on yourself at all, right? So I felt very disconnected from myself, and as a result, like I was so tuned in to like this other dimension of consciousness because it was too tiring to hold myself together. Like it was exhausting.
Right.
And it was like, at first it felt like all the dead people I read, because it was a mediumship show, it was just dead people, right? So,
right.
And I'd never ever done that much mediumship in a short period of time in my life, right? So I kind of felt like they, or the consciousness of them, was very present with me after the show. But then I realized, like, wait a second, these aren't dead people. So I just was very aware of this energy that had a personality. I guess that's how I could describe it, that had this personality. And so I kind of shyly told my editor about this. I said, I'm tuning into this very humming, happy kind of vibe. But now at this stage, I hadn't really connected and had a conversation at this stage. It was just like, wow, I feel these energies. She goes, well, what is it? She goes, so are there the spirits? I went, no, I totally know the difference between dead people and this. She goes, well, then what is it? I went, well, I don't really know. She goes, why don't you ask it? So I was like, oh, quelle surprise, I could do that. So I went into meditation. No, but it was funny because I didn't realize, but I was sort of getting a sense because I had connected to a giant angel, which I wrote about in my very first book. Scared the living crap out of me, many years ago. And it hummed and had a very singy sound harmonic tone to it.
Yeah.
And this was similar, but not exactly the same.
Okay.
So she said, ask what it is. And she goes, I need it now, right? So anyway, I went into meditation. And I went into this kind of drooly sort of stupor. Right? And I was like, hello. And Fred, anyway, so how is it called Fred? So I asked, who are you and kind of thing, right? And it was weird because considering I'm an intuitive, I've done this for 27 years. I talk to dead people. I'm shy about asking, hello, spirit guides, whatever the hell you are. Like, what are you? And honest to God, I had this like happy, vibey, like sounding like bing, 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 bing energy.
Yeah.
And I said, like, what do I call you? And I didn't get an answer. We are we, you are we are when you listen. That's like so clear is what, like, it sounded like I don't know how to put R2D2 spoke to me. And I'm like, what? And then I said, well, I need your name. Like, what do I call you? What's your name? And I heard Fred. And I'm like, but Fred, I'm like, Fred, I'm not going to call you Fred.
Yeah.
I want to talk about this. I want like Ezekiel or like Galadriel or like Gandalf or something good.
Right.
Like, come on. Like Doreen Virtue has Angel Gabriel and all that. Like, give me somebody that at least is historically known so that they won't look at me like I'm an idiot. No. And then I heard, Fred.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, it's a long story.
Yeah.
You have to read it in the book. It's hilarious. And I don't want to spoil it because because there was the funniest. Should I spoil it? Should I talk about the?
If you want to.
Okay, because I wanted to write a sequel to my book, The Map.
Right.
And I had it all planned out, whatever. And it was as if this group of, and it is a group, it's a chorus, because they sound like a chorus. They sound they sing at me. And only when I'm meditating, by the way, they don't come to me in the grocery store, right? It's not like all of a sudden I have like I should jump out and dance, but that's not it. When I meditate and I actually listen, I hear them. So they started showing me pictures and images. So as soon as they identified themselves as Fred, I realized like, oh wow, I used to call God Quantum Fred. You're like a while ago, like it didn't hit me why the Fred, right? And I thought, oh wow, and then I closed my eyes and they showed me a picture of Dana Carvey in a wig, like that actor, and I saw Wayne's World years ago, so I didn't remember the character's name or anything. I'm thinking like this is like insane. This is not happening to me,
right?
And then I looked up the name meaning because in my process Envision, everything counts and you look up the meaning of everything. Mm-hmm. So I looked up the meaning of Fred and I looked up the meaning of Garth, which was the character of the guy in Wayne's World. So this chorus named Fred, sometimes called Fred, shows me pictures and images of puzzle pieces that then I'm supposed to go and find out what it means. So Fred means the ruler of peace and Garth means defender of the garden.
Yes.
So and that's all I'm going to say.
Yes. Yes, because there's more in the book, but yes, I think that's so cool though. You know what? Before we go forward, can you just explain a little bit about the Envision process? Because I know that that's a huge piece of this and everything that you do. So
the Envision process actually came out of my first book, The Map, and it's a process. It's an energy psychology process, and in short form, it's a meditation that uses a different form of the mind in order to communicate with your higher self or with spirit. So it gets you into an observer position where all of a sudden you go through this process where you see your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs as an environment. You automatically recognize that you're not the place. You become distant from the place because you're the observer, and then your consciousness shifts. But in the process, there's different ways of working with it where you get a bird, and then they name themselves, and all these different things that I have. It's like way too hard to explain, but it's a form of meditation that enables you to dialogue with the divine, connect to your inner oracle, and shift from being identified with any emotional experience to becoming the observer of it. So it really tunes you into your soul self, basically.
Okay, perfect. So a lot of the book and what it's called Uncharted, right? So a lot of it is really about kind of facing these unfamiliar experiences in order to kind of transform ourselves rather than scare the crap out of ourselves, right? But one of the things that freaks us out about these unfamiliar experiences is the uncertainty of it, the not knowing, where we're going, what lies before us, and things like that. So, and that brings up so much fear. So I've heard you say that, uncertainty is kind of our new normal. So can you explain, number one, why that is, and then number two, why it's actually a good thing?
Yes. Okay. So here's the thing. So if we do what we did, we're going to get what we got, right? Yes. So we are all conditioned to see ourselves a certain way. And at this time in human history, it's an unprecedented time of human history where we have no longer see ourselves fully as separate. But we have agreed to this disconnected worldview. So we're now fighting against our own worldview because now we're connected to everybody on the planet, and we're affected by everything that happens on the planet. So we're told that by the news, et cetera, et cetera. The uncertainty piece is that we are actually all being ushered into this new reality where we are being invited into this connected worldview. Even through quantum physics, the new science, the frontiers of science, they're now calling for consciousness to be part of the scientific paradigm and conversation. So even our best thinkers who are the most skeptical of what you and I would just, like, they wouldn't look at Fred and think, that's good. Maybe one day, but anyhow. So we're all evolving at a very fast velocity right now, whether we like it or not. Yeah. So part of us was trained to see things this way. The part of us, so if you look at it like that great conversation that Bruce Lipton's first started talking about this butterfly metamorphosis story, right?
Yeah.
We're used to being caterpillars chewing on leaves, fuzzy, cute little green things. One of us starts to have dreams of flying. It's a nightmare because they're scared, right? But they know this could be good, right? So,
Right.
And then what happens is that we get into this, sickness, right? So the immune system fights the parts that still want to be a caterpillar and makes that die in order for new cells, the imaginal cells, right, which create the new cells, which creates the foundation of the butterfly.
Yeah.
So we're still in that part of the cocoon where we're in the dark, but we're changing. We just don't know who we're going to transform. We don't know what the hell how to fly. Like we're used to leaf walking and crawling and chewing and stuff like that, right? So like it's a scary thing. But yet we're all called. Like people who are going to read my book know they're called to this. They're called to it and they're scared. And it's okay to be scared. It's just the thing is that you don't do it alone. You do it in a partnership, right? And that partnership is this divine consciousness that has always been there. It's that And also, we are going to fall asleep at the wheel. We are going to suffer spiritual narcolepsy. We're going to. Yeah. But we have to keep waking ourselves up again and go, okay, we can co-create. So this uncertainty, that's this low-grade feeling that all of us have, is really a great jumping off point. But we need a new map. We can't use the map we used to use. We can't. Like, it just tells us where we've been already. We have this whole new vast universe to discover. So we have to allow ourselves to chart a new course, a new map, etc. And just like the old ancient mariners' maps, there be dragons, right? So it's like, because that's what it said, there be dragons. Like, don't go there. Don't go past the part of the map that we've already known. Like, you don't want to go there. They don't know what that is. And the human being, we need certainty beyond anything else. That's what we want. We want familiarity and certainty. Even adventurers want to know, oh, okay, now we're here. Oh, I've conquered this. I've been here.
Right.
Now it's part, right? But getting there, it's like, ooh.
So, one of the things, kind of a theme throughout the whole book you talk about is the new map being the map of your soul.
Yes.
So can you kind of briefly explain to our viewers what is the map of the soul and how do we actually access that?
Okay, so I'll first start with the map that we know, which is a two-dimensional map, which you look at a map and you see it like, where have I been? What do I know? What's in my subconscious? What's in my memory? Because we are memory-based creatures, right? Yeah. So every part of the planet that exists now is available to all of us, by the way, through satellites. Not one part of this planet, right? We see everything.
Yeah.
There's nothing that hasn't been discovered, right? So except the vast 96% of the hidden reality that we don't access through our five senses, and it's 96%, kids, right? Yeah. And except for those of us who have these anecdotal moments where we talk about things like Fred, or we channel such and such, and we see angels, or any of these things that are not day-to-day realities for any of us yet. Okay, so the soul's map is more like a hologram, and it's if you look at it like, let's say it's a spherical. It's like it's got all these sides to it, like a diamond, all these facets, etc. And it's always morphing and changing, and everything is connected and interconnected. So that means our worldview of connectivity, where consciousness is the basis of all life, and that it is, it is the interconnected potentiality of absolutely everything, and that everything already exists that we haven't pulled into the material world yet. That's all part of the soul's map. The soul, which is immortal and is our direct link into that consciousness, has kind of like a tie-in, an automatic tie-in. But when our ego cells is running the show all the time, going, I need a map, I need this map, this one, right? It doesn't listen, and the soul's like, okay, we're gonna wait. Hello,
right?
Let's just file our nails,
right?
So the soul's map is something that we co-create in that moment. And how it shows up to us is in moments of synchronicity. So if you were to actually make it easy and say it is the map of synchronicities that don't make any sense, that prove to us that all those synchronistic moments could never have been planned by our specific intellectual decision-making, imagination, all of those, you can't draw it out first. It's always those oh, the epiphanies. And so the soul's map, which everybody has one, we all have it. Nobody doesn't get one. We all have it. We came in with one, and then we fell asleep.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's infinite potential. That's the other thing. We only have limits. The only limitations that we have are based on our personality selves that the soul has chosen to work through, because spirit needs an individual, unique snowflake to be itself, right? So we are art, we are the artist, we are the paintbrush, we are the canvas, we are all these things. Yeah. And so that soul needs that life expression. So we need ourselves, we need our little selves, but we also need the soul self. We need the integration of two in order to see the miracles.
Yes. And I think you kind of explain, and I think we all know this on some level, that eventually in life we are all kind of venture into these uncharted territories without notice sometimes. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So it could be the failed relationship, it could be a health diagnosis, it could be you just wake up one day and life is different and you're scared and you don't know what you're going to do. So what you kind of lay out and teach in this book, and there's exercises and meditations and things like that, is that if we utilize the tools of intuition and the ability to kind of reconnect with spirit and let it help us co-create our lives, that the journey itself, will, rather than being fearful, would be more joyful and fun. Exactly. So my question is, what are some ways that we can kind of quickly reconnect in those moments that we're fearful? What are some things that we can do to quickly reconnect to spirit and remember that we're not alone in this process?
You know what I find, that, like, you're asking me for a quick process, so I think the abracadabra of everything is gratitude.
Right.
So the minute I feel fearful, I start, that's not true. I will be lying if I say the minute I feel fearful, I'm in fear.
Yes.
But I know these tools. So actually, one of the best exercises that I tell people to do is a kind of a partial piece of the heart math exercise. You put your hand right here, right in the middle of your breastbone, and your right hand and across your chest to your heart, and you just say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Look at and breathe. Thank you. And if you say that for 3 solid minutes, thank you, I love you, to just anything around you, thank you, I love you, thank you, I love you, thank you, I love you, you won't remember what you're afraid of. Like, honestly, by 3 solid minutes, you just turn on a little, like egg timer. And if you're standing in an office or whatever, this is also, and you're at work and you're having a panic attack, nobody's going to notice what you're doing, right? You're just going to fold your arms like this and just go,
Yes.
And what that does is that, because we have our heart has a brain in it. They found now the heart has a brain. We have a gut brain, a heart brain, and a head brain. And when the heart and the brain become coherent, in other words, that they're connected, your soul self is just kind of sitting in there. And gratitude and saying thank you to absolutely everything is like magic. It is that simple. It's not difficult. Like, I have spent 27 years looking for difficult solutions.
Yes.
And thank God for Fred, because as soon as I started getting, because I'm kind of a Poindexter. I mean, even though I talk very colloquially, I'm very intellectual, and I'm a science geek, and I read about quantum physics and unified physics theory and try to figure all this out. Bottom line at the end of the day, like, thank you, Fred, was be like, nope, simple, Simon. All of us can do this. This is simple, easy peasy stuff. The other thing is, too, when we're afraid, there's a part of us that's afraid. It's not all of us. The soul isn't afraid at all. And it's like, I find, too, that, if I could imagine that I have a baby in my hands, like, sometimes I'll just go like this, and I recognize that there is one part of me only that's afraid, but the soul is not. So I can just go like this, and I like to do it with my dog because, I go, wah, wah, wah. Like, again, love and gratitude is just the antidote for fear. Yes. You can't have two. They can't live in the same space for very long. They can't.
Yes.
And then your actions, then your choices were different. That's the other thing. Right. You will make a very different choice. The Envision process also takes you out of fear like that. It gets you in the observer position, and then you aren't afraid. You don't even remember what the heck you started doing in the beginning. And I don't want to give that away because that's in the book. Unless you want me to do a process. But, I mean, It's up to you.
Sure.
So,
I mean, if you want to do you have something that you can do kind of?
well, actually, we can do it right now, right?
Okay.
Because that'll help. That will, because you know what? No matter what, even if they don't want to buy the book, like at least we've done something nice for somebody today. Right? It might be afraid.
Perfect. Yes.
Okay, so this is a 60-second exercise, or maybe 2 minutes. Okay,
Okay.
so I'm going to ask you to just recall, because you're not afraid right now and you're in a great space. So just recall, because we all have a go-to place. Like I get overwhelmed. My fear results in an overwhelming feeling. So how does your fear show up for you, and where does it show up in your body?
For me, it probably shows up kind of
Chest?
I would say in the chest area. Yes.
Yeah, me too. I have the exact same thing. Okay.
Yes.
So if you could imagine, and you can do this with your eyes open or closed, if you could imagine that your fear that feels a certain way, right? You might have like your thoughts, maybe your brain scrambles or whatever, but just if you could imagine that that is an environment you temporarily inhabit, what would it look like if it was a place rather than a feeling? The first thing that comes to mind.
The fear, you mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like a cave.
So you'd be in a cave. No, that's good. Okay, so you go to a cave. So just bring the cave up in your imagination and look at the cave. Are you in the cave, or are you outside looking? Are you looking inside the cave? Are you in the cave, trapped in the cave?
I'm in the cave, but like the doors to my back.
Oh, okay, even worse. All right, so you're looking in a cave. Into the unknown cave. Okay, great. So imagine then, just imagine that, okay, I am feeling this feeling, but now I'm looking at the place that expresses that feeling. So just pay attention to the fact that you are the one looking at the place instead of being the place, because you're not the place, right?
Right.
Right? So this should be a teeny bit of a shift right now. Maybe just only a little bit. Yep, okay. Now, would you like to stay in this place, or if I could give you a way to leave the place, would you take it?
I would take it.
Excellent. Okay, good. So imagine that at birth, you were chosen by a winged creature who would be there to empower you. Your subconscious will not defy this, because since the beginning of time, all human beings saw winged creatures as the intermediary between them and the divine, right? So tell me what shows up, and it'll have to fly into the cave to meet you.
I go with a white dove.
You got a white dove, or did you say go with the white dove, or did you get a white dove?
That's what came to my mind.
Perfect, good. So because, I just want to make sure you didn't make that up, that the dove showed up. Okay, good. So I'm going to invite you to sit on the back of the dove, and you might have to crouch if your cave is low, whatever, but just like move your sits bones until you get comfortable on the back of your dove, and touch its feathers, and just imagine that you actually feel the insides of your palms touching something that's warmer. Let me know when you're feeling that feeling.
Yes, I can feel that.
Like a little tingling. Okay, great. So let's go out the hole of the cave and allow your dove to take you high, high in the sky until all you see is bright blue.
Okay.
Okay? How does your body feel now?
Oh my God, it was so funny that you asked me that, because instantly I've just felt everything just go, whew. You know what I mean? Kind of like I'm relaxed now.
Okay, good. So imagine now that you are able to look over the side of your beautiful white dove, and tell me how big or small the place was where you started that had all that power over you.
It's very small.
Right. So does it have any power over you now?
No.
No. Okay, you're not afraid now, are you?
No.
No. So what we did was we didn't change the feeling. We didn't make it go away. We didn't do anything to it. We just moved.
Okay.
That's all I did, is taught you how to move.
Right.
Move your conscious, move your mind. That's it. We don't make it bad or wrong. Everything, including fear, gets to exist in its integrity.
Okay.
Fear is not bad.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, because that's something that I think now that I've gone through that, I feel like I can go back to that same kind of visualization over and over again.
Yes. And you can. And in the book, there are many of those types of exercises that I give people.
Yes.
And I'm going to actually create an accompanying series of audio programs for it too, for people. I'm going to do an Uncharted class, because I think it's really key that for us to just acknowledge and admit, you know what? We don't know what's coming. And we're being told all the time we don't know what's coming. You know, the structures of our world are moving so quickly. Everybody is nervous.
Yeah.
You know, like they think that they're not going to get to manifest their dreams, that their dreams won't count. There won't be enough resources, enough money, enough men, enough, enough of this, enough of that, right?
Right.
People are afraid that there's not enough, they're not enough, they're unworthy because we've bought into so much BS about, being born in sin and, and being separate from one another and all of these things that had actually done us very well for a period of time, but now we have to move into a different paradigm of thinking. So not to say bad or good. I have to watch myself because I'm like bad. But in fact, that's not true.
Right.
The truth is we are exactly where we're supposed to be, and nothing is bad. It just was what it was. But now, if we are going to evolve, by the way, too, people are looking at resources, for example, as limited. But I saw this great video of this 13-year-old physicist who figured out a way how to create unlimited electricity and power from electromagnetism. And that means, and so we only see the material world as our resource, right? That we can only look for oil or look for this, or even the sun for solar power. But what if we had unlimited resources and that it was just our ability to tune into that higher self, that mind, the great imagination of the great consciousness? Call it God if you want, call it whatever. I call it spirit because I believe that there is a link, that there is this awareness, this great awareness that made us. So even the creation story, I get, everybody's been trying to explain this since the beginning of time, and I won't be the one to get it 100%.
Right.
But I do know that when I've acted in everything that I have given in this book, I've done, like including how we even got our house. It's like,
oh my gosh, I so enjoyed reading that, and you talk about your symbol of the dragonfly and all.
Dragonfly, hello. I mean, who picked me? I didn't pick the dragonfly. Dragonfly picked me.
Right.
Yeah, it was like things when you really let yourself go from that tight hold you have on your limitations as a human being, and even your ego wants and desire, because attachment is also a really big problem, right? So it is the thing that we have to release and surrender to. But I got to tell you, when we can and we just pay attention just to the periphery of our lives, it's outrageous what's possible. If we have that, like who is that woman who wrote that great book, Outrageous Openness? I can't remember.
Oh my gosh, I know who you're talking about, and I can't think of her name right now.
Yeah, I can't remember her name either, but I just want to give her a shout out. I love her, and I can't believe it. It's menopause. Might have no brain cells. Okay, so, but that sense of feeling completely open, and that's why I say it's like I thank you, I love you, thank you, I love you, thank you, I love you. That's that's what we have to keep saying. We have to say it to every cell in our body. There's so many different people that teach this now. Joe Dispenza, I'm his student. I'm a student. I'm at the Resonance Academy now. I'm talking about them all the time because I'm obsessed with it. I've got halfway through their first program. I'm like, oh my God, this is so exciting.
Oh my God.
So we are all responsible to learn this, and we have to unlearn what we learned about ourselves. And because if our way doesn't work, if we do what we did, we're going to get what we got. And if you don't want what you got, we got to do something different.
Yes.
And so my book is all about how to do something different and have fun with it.
Yes. And one of the things I want to kind of cover before we finish is that a bulk of kind of part 2 of the book is explaining that as part of this map of the soul that we have, there's these 5 interconnected realms that you talk about that we kind of have to journey through. And you even say, I think it's toward the end of the book, that that if you create exactly what you want but you're still disappointed, it's because you kind of skipped one of those or more of those realms. So can you explain kind of quickly what they are and why it's so important to kind of journey through all of them in that co-creation process?
Yeah, so I downloaded this from Fred. Like, I gotta say, I've made a joke in the book too. I'm going like, oh well, I bet all the best ideas are going to be Fred's. Right. But I got this. I had always talked about the map being like layer cake or time, or I always saw these kind of holographic images and things, and also because the Holographic Universe was one of my favorite books by Michael Talbot, who's deceased. Mm-hmm. But I saw this as realms, and these are metaphors, right? So the realm of spirit is the one that encompasses everything and is in everything. So spirit is our primary reality. We think the material world is our primary reality, and we chase our dreams in the realm of form. But the realm of form is actually the last realm of co-creation. It's not the first. The first is spirit. So we have to learn how to orient ourselves in the realm of spirit. Then consciousness or mind comes next.
Yes.
So this comes into us, right? Mind, thought, heart mind, brain mind, gut mind, like how we think. And so we have to look at our mindset, our thinking, because we are thinking creatures. When we intuit information, it's about information. And then our subconscious, and the importance about identifying the conditioned mind, and that there is a higher mind above the conditioned mind, but we have to get to know it. Yeah. So we have to really know thyself, basically, like at the temple at Delphi. We talk about intuition and spirit, being the first sense rather than the sixth sense as well. I forgot to mention that. So then we go from mind, then we go to light. Now light, in this case, we are made of light. Light infuses all life, but light illuminates the shadow. So that's where you talk about the shadow. Important to process your shadow, not be afraid of it, but to illuminate it. And then from light, we go to energy. Well, and energy is like, where's your motives? What are you putting into this? What actions are you taking? Yeah. Now, we can be oblivious about the actions and the choices that we make if we don't address the subconscious. Mm-hmm. And I actually have a class with Hay House. We're actually probably renaming it. It's called Reprogram Your Subconscious Mind, but we're going to probably rename it. I'm going to tool it a little bit differently so people can really take access of it, because it's all an Envision process.
Yes.
But it's how do we skip over the conditioning of our mind without going into a gazillion years of therapy? Right. It's like you're not broken. Nobody is broken. That's it. We're just... Where's my dog? Are you okay? Sorry, my little dog is coughing.
Oh.
So yeah, we're not broken, and we are just wounded, and we want to discover that so that we can love ourselves, and then allow that energy that we set free as well to then push us into bringing into form. Like we call it down from the realm of spirit. Then at the end is form. Mm-hmm. So... And we have to be unattached to the form. That's the other thing. It's like spirit has a better idea of the thing we want than we do. So we tend to typically chase a thing, right? In energy, it's also our feelings, right? So what do we feel like? Like how do we feel? Because that's also going to be an energy. It's going to show us, reflect out into the universe. If we have a consistency of thought, feelings, and beliefs, we're going to see that reflected at some point. So we want to really take a look at what are we feeling and what is it that we desire to feel, and then leaving the attachment to the form. For example, how we got our house, right? That was a perfect example. The form was not like, we were clear about the what. In terms of our house, we put down a list of things that we really, really desired one day for our perfect home. Mm-hmm. But we released the form of it, or how it would ever come to us, to the universe, and literally 3 weeks later, because we had done everything, we actually went through this process of the 5 realms, and we released the 5th realm to spirit. We figured, 5 years, no, 3 weeks. Right. 3 weeks, the most bizarre thing. But we also were very clear about how we wanted to feel. That was the other thing. We knew what we wanted it to look like to the degree that we did. We knew certain components that we wanted, but we definitely knew how we wanted to feel there, and how we wanted to serve from it. That was the other piece. How do we serve as a result of this move? Anyway, so yeah, we moved countries, and then it was the strangest conversation, but literally 3 weeks later we got a phone call with like, I know you're not planning on moving countries because we were living in the States, but I have a perfect place for you. It's a 25-acre farm, and like literally we're like, you're kidding. Right. And we were like, okay. We thought it was going to be California or Colorado. It was Canada.
Right. Oh my goodness, that's so awesome though. And
yeah,
I love
but anybody can do this.
Yes, and
Anybody can do this.
That you take it, that each of those steps are so critical, because if you don't kind of get that realm of mind straight, right, and then you're taking the actions, you're not going to be taking the actions that you really want to be taking because you haven't gotten that subconscious mind straight. So, right. And you offer so many different exercises and meditations, like I said, throughout the book, to kind of conquer each one of those realms. As
it's not to conquer them. I think it's really, because we talk about the dragons, how to train your dragons too. Yes. I think I can't remember which. I think it was the realm of energy or light. I can't remember. But the idea that we have personal power, and we have given away our power so much because we're afraid of it. So that was a really big component of the book too, like being playful. In the hero's journey, the hero slays the dragon. Like, we're going to go slay those dragons. I'm like, no, you're not. You're going to ride it like the dragon in Avatar.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Right?
And you even talk about kind of the importance of play and rest in this
Yeah.
process, because I think a lot of people, they stress out. It becomes a stressful thing rather than a relaxing thing for them.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy is that like, I don't always get it right either, even though I wrote this book, but, you know, there really is an idea that things have to be very hard.
Yes.
We have like hard work. Like we have these concepts that are not true.
Yeah.
And when I look back on the synchronistic moments of my life from the beginning, like even how I got to Hay House, I never planned that. That was like, forget it. Like how it all happened from a phone call to this to that to that. It was like bizarre.
Sure.
It was like the doors open, spirit went. I was just surrendered to the whole thing. I had no aspirations other than to serve.
Right.
Except my aspiration was to do music. I was like pounding on that door. Hello.
Yes.
I see myself with a microphone in front of thousands of people. Hello, hello, hello. Meanwhile, I'm in front of Hay House audiences just doing the same thing.
Exactly.
So the form that is in your highest good, that you will be happiest. That's the thing. It's not your highest good like, well, that's not good for you, the thing you want. Oh, this is good for you. Like eat your broccoli or eat your Brussels sprouts. You know what I'm saying? That's good for you. No, you're going to want it. You're really going to revel in it. That's the thing. It's going to make you feel amazing. When you manifest what is in your highest good, you'll be so grateful, you'll be kissing the ground.
Yes.
Right?
And so many times what's in our highest good is beyond what we can even
We can't fathom that.
Yes.
I had no clue what was good for me. I thought I knew what was good for me.
Sure.
Like mediumship, hello, no way, Jose. Like, and I'm like, I am so grateful that I can do this now, that I have this service to offer people. But my ego self had such a chip on it. I was like, oh, I don't want that. And, oh no, and, that's not mainstream enough. I have to be mainstream. Like I have to live a little bit more off the corner of Fringe and Maine, excuse me.
Right.
Now I'm like, I don't care. Now it's bite me. This is what I do.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Like, we all have to find our authenticity. If it's not authentic to you, you're not going to be happy.
Yes.
Not going to be happy.
Absolutely. And
not your soul. Your soul knows. It's happy already. It's going to pick the thing it's happiest.
Right. And by doing what you say in this book, by kind of reconnecting to spirit and taking the steps to kind of embrace uncertainty at the fact that it is providing us with opportunities we can't even imagine, it kind of takes the whole point is to kind of take some of that fear out of the process so that you stopping yourself and blocking yourself.
Yeah, and you know what? And we're not all going to get it right 100%. That's the other thing. I talk about that in the book a lot. I say, listen, you know what? We have spiritual amnesia for some of the time. Then we remember who we are. We wake up. We feel so spiritually enlightened. And then we're going to fall asleep at the wheel just when we're about to do something.
Right. Absolutely.
And then we're going to fall asleep. And then we're going to wake up again. And our recovery time will get less and less and less.
Yeah.
Narrower. We don't fall asleep as often. When we do, we're cool with it. We're like, we love ourselves. We love other people. We have to make amends. Fine. Okay, I'm sorry I stepped on your toes. Oh boy, my ego woke up.
Right.
Oh well, it's either going to ease God's order or edge God out. And I want to ease God's order, right? So, or ease good orderly direction. Yeah. So it's, look I've been studying metaphysics my entire, 30 years, right? I've been teaching it for 27. I've been doing this work for this. And, I'm always evolving myself and learning new things. And this is really a culmination of everything that I have learned and experienced personally. And I want to share it with people because I think that now is the time when we have to revisit these concepts and to regroup and to really recommit to a new life for ourselves that we love, that we're happy with, that we can share with others. And as a result, we can, hold hands like kumbaya. You know what I mean?
Right. Fantastic.
Together. We don't do it by ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I want to say thank you so much for joining us, for walking us through the process that you did, and for the new book for everyone out there. It is called Uncharted: The Journey Through Uncertainty to Infinite Possibility. Definitely check it out. It will be out in bookstores in September. And again, thank you so much, and I can't wait to interview again in the future.
Oh, thank you.